instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
Through.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast. We talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if you're gonna howl or dwell in the dark or fall to the bottom of the ocean, we want to talk about it. And tonight, our hearts will go on because we are talking about the Titanic
and all its conspiracy theories.
Yeah, and spooky stuff involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
All
There's the Rothschilds. I'll just spoil it now.
Mm-hmm. a lot of money folk that were opposing legislation were on that ship.
Yep, and they all met at a place called the Meadows.
Or also, King Tut's sarcophagus was on there.
Well, it wasn't King Tut's, but yeah,
it was some king.
We'll get to it.
One of those guys. Yeah, we will.
The Grovers were involved. You know this.
Yeah.
Sempervirens sank the Titanic.
Yeah, this is a total Grover branch conspiracy. Is what's happening.
This is a
side
Bohemian
quest?
Bohemian Grove spin-off side quest. Not many people complete it.
Yeah. No, a couple people made it.
Yeah.
Mostly the women and children.
Right. They complete the quest.
Yeah.
It's rare for men to complete this quest.
Yep. Most of
especially
them
if you're in a little tiny sub trying to go to the bottom and then oops, leaked.
In the blink of an eye.
Yep.
Just goo, and that's it.
Pink goo.
But all right, guys, before we get to the Titanic and all the spookiness involved, I guess I'll be bringing you tonight's jump scare. All right, guys, so in a hang recently, let's just say the party was a little tuned up, and I haven't heard this since I recorded it, but a friend of the show who submitted a story previously, I got a recording of her telling a couple stories, and I've already braced Jay for this. I haven't listened to it since it's been recorded.
I'm going to be listening to it live with you folks, so this will be fun.
Yeah, and I will be reliving this moment. So, all right, well, without further ado, here we go. All right. So, in a sweet chill session here at, let's call it Jamestown Bunker.
There we go.
We have a friend of the show and ultimate resting bitch face awesomeness, one of my best friends, Alicia McKinney. Alicia, please tell us some of your stories. You can hold it. Hold it.
I don't want to. It's too much.
No, go ahead. No, you can. You got it.
I'm all done.
No, tell me your story. So, what was?
It's over.
Also, that she told us the knocker-upper story in the earlier stages. So tell us.
I did.
Tell us the one you just told me. Person on the door. You got it. Come on, fuck it. You're drinking. We're drinking.
I know. All right. So I was laying on my floor.
Yeah.
As a teenager, talking on the phone, and I looked over, and from where I was laying, I could see under my door.
Yeah.
And there was someone staring at me as I was talking on the phone.
What do you mean staring at you? Describe it.
So all I saw was a face looking under the
door frame, like under the door.
Under the door frame, between the door and the
floor
carpet. Yeah.
So you saw like two eyes, or just like what did you see?
Two eyes and I guess like a nose.
Oh.
Staring at me.
And you were like, what? Fuck this? I'm just back
well, I ignored it and then looked over a few minutes later and it was still there.
No? When did it go away?
Eventually.
Eventually. So, like, you didn't even pay attention at the time. You're like,
no, I just kind of ignored it and was like, okay, this thing's looking at me.
That's creepy. Now, what was the next one you were about to tell?
The next one?
Yeah, before we started recording, you were about to tell me another one.
So, I used to have this dresser.
Okay.
And it was my grandmother's, like, armoire. And it had a big, like, almost like a closet kind of thing. Okay. And then it had 3 drawers next to it. So,
like, it was like a wardrobe up top kind of deal, and then 3 drawers.
3 drawers, yes. So, I remember when I was laying in bed, and I started yelling for my mom. And my uncle was over. And he came in, my uncle came in my room because I was yelling. And I was like, there's something in my drawer. And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, there's a person in my drawer. They're trying to come out of my drawer. And he turned on my light. And it was my cat. But what I described was a hand coming out of the drawer.
Ew.
But it was my cat, which my mom eventually got rid of. Shortly after that.
Yeah. So you saw a hand.
A hand.
And
resembled a human hand.
Yeah. And then.
But when my uncle turned on the light, the cat.
Yeah.
My black cat.
Yeah.
Was in my drawer.
Yeah. Yeah, you get hit with a ghost, girl.
Yeah, lots of ghosts.
Well, Alicia, thank you very much for your new story. We love it. Back to Alicia. No, get on. Grab
so I had a ghost that would steal my clothes. So someone died in my family. I don't remember who the heck it was, but we had a funeral that I had to go to when I was like 12, maybe. And we didn't have much money because it was just my mom. She was a single parent. And she was like, you have this, this, and this, like, to wear the funeral. And I was like, oh, I don't have that. And she was like, yes, you do. And I was like, no, it's gone. And she was like, what the fuck do you mean it's gone? And I was like, oh, the ghost stole it. And she was like, what? So she came in my room, tore everything apart, emptied out my dresser, everything, my closet, dumped it all in the middle, couldn't find it. And I was like, told you, the ghost stole it. So I went to this funeral with whatever the fuck else my mom bought me. And like literally 2 months later, I woke up and these clothes that my mom wanted me to wear were folded and sitting on the edge of my bed.
Wild.
And I was like, fucking told you. Like, the ghost stole them and decided to give them back. Yeah. But they brought them back. They needed it for something. I don't know.
They had their own funeral to go to.
Something, yeah.
All right, so yeah, that was a friend of the show, Haunted Alicia. With,
you gotta love those. You gotta love those middle to end of the night. You know what I saw once, guys?
Yeah,
I love them. I love them though.
Because that's what happened. We got into like, you know, it was like towards the end, and I was like, hey, and like we just started talking. I was like, wait, let me download a voice recording app, and we did. And then, you know, investigatory Ken comes out, you know, and floppy drunk asking questions.
Did you pull out the REM pod?
I wish. Should have. Thing would have been going nuts, man.
Yeah, this story is haunted. No, right. I dig that. I like the I mean the face one. That's, you know, that's some classic shit right there. I mean, you know, who wants to see anything looking back at them ever? No, never. That tickles my you know, you open the window in the middle of the night, you know, pull the blinds up and there's a face, you know, staring at you already. So that you know, that tickles that fear for me. And then the hand that ended up being a cat.
Yeah,
coming out of the
black
drawer.
cat. Yeah.
Still, man, that's still, oof.
Yeah, and then the
Like,
last
how
one.
do you know the ghost wasn't in the drawer pushing the cat out?
Right. Or the cat knew the ghost was in there and was trying to protect her.
Or the cat was like conspiring with the ghost to take her out.
That's more likely.
Dude, cats are shady as fuck. I mean, I love cats, but they're shady as fuck. You don't know what they're gonna do.
No, you never do.
Yeah. They always hear about people getting like tripped up by cats and then they fall down the stairs and break their neck. It's, you know.
Yeah. The cat's just staring down with its tail slowly going side to side. But yeah, the last one, the funeral clothes, you know?
Yeah, that's you know, that's one of those creepy, like, you just see the after effects and it's just like, ew.
Yeah. And maybe whoever's funeral it was like, don't wear that.
Maybe.
I'll bring it back later. You'll be all right.
Ghostly clothing selections.
Yeah. And laundry service.
Right.
You got to appreciate that. You got to.
Hey man, they got all the time in the world now. So
right. It's probably doing some kind of like ghost dry cleaning on the other side. Which
man.
Steamy ectoplasm, I'm guessing.
Well, you know, Alicia, if you have any more information on the ghost laundry service, we want to hear about it.
Yeah, I could use that. That'd be a good come up for me.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. Again, thank you, Alicia.
Thanks, Alicia.
The drunken stories. I love them.
I wish Rob wasn't such a punk.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried too. He was just like, no.
Yeah, those Navy guys, you know.
Yeah. They don't hear your shit.
Nice.
All right. Well, going forward, we actually have another haunted headline in a continuation of our haunted headline series featuring AI terrorizing the world.
Scariest thing in the world.
Yep. Well, we have an update on what's going on. So I will be bringing you tonight's haunted headline.
Haunted headline.
All right, thanks, Ken. Well, this is actually from 2 days ago. This is Elon Musk's Neuralink has implanted its first chip in a human brain. What's next?
I'll tell you, man, we already know where it's going. We talked about it the last episode. The AI is going to be able to control human bodies even if they're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Billionaire technologist Elon Musk announced this week that his company Neuralink has implanted its brain-computer interface into a human for the first time. The recipient was recovering well, Musk wrote on his social media platform X on Monday evening, adding that the initial results showed promising neuron spike detection, a reference to brain cells' electrical activity. Each wireless Neuralink device contains a chip and electrode arrays of more than 1,000 super thin flexible conductors that a surgical robot threads into the cerebral cortex. Dude, stop.
You know why this is scary as fuck? I mean, I you know, outside of the obvious shit, what if it goes in there and this is the AI learning how to copy a brain?
Yeah, probably. It probably mapped it the whole time in there.
And that's it. They make their own brain, and that's it. We're done.
Yeah, well,
next week.
I'm just going to finish this last paragraph off here, but the electrodes are designed to register thought related to motion. In Musk's vision, an app will eventually translate these signals to move a cursor or produce text. In short, it will enable computer control by thinking. Imagine if Stephen Hawking could communicate faster than a speed typist or educator. That's the goal, Musk wrote, of the first Neuralink product, which he has said he has named telepathy.
No thanks.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm ending the article there because here we are.
No, I don't want it.
Here we are, man. Like you said, that's probably just them mapping the brain and learning more about the brain because they're like, oh, we're an artificial brain. How do we get better?
Yeah.
How do we get beyond?
Man. I mean,
yeah.
This is it. I mean, I think we've said that 150 times already. This is it. But like they keep getting scarier and fucking scarier.
Yeah, because also, you know, we have to worry about, you know, what's beyond the mortal coil. You know, what, you know, when we're not necessary for technology to function, what function do we serve?
Well, I don't know. Not a food source.
No.
Not a labor force.
No.
We just get in the way.
Yeah.
Maybe like the Matrix, so we're like batteries. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't even think they would need that because they could.
No, because they have the sun.
Yeah, and not only that, they could perfect nuclear technology better than us. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. They'd come up with something better.
Yep. Dude,
That's probably what the aliens are fleeing.
well, or it's like our, the idea I had last time. It's that the AI might be our only defense against the aliens. I don't know.
True.
I don't like any of it.
I just feel like we're gonna have to make a deal somewhere along the line.
I feel like the deal was already made.
Yeah.
And it happened right around Roswell. And now we're just living in the aftermath of it.
Yeah.
Like half the shit that we see on TV is probably all AI bullshit anyway.
Right. And then I read another article that I was going to mull over using, but we could just talk about it here real quick.
Mm-hmm.
One of the companies that's working on AI decided to program their AI to randomly go rogue with ill intentions.
So they could try to train against it.
Yeah. And they couldn't stop it.
Wonderful. And now they're training it to keep doing it so they can do it better every time. That's great.
Yep.
That's great. So it's like the AI version of gain of function research.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
That won't go bad.
Oh, the smarty pantses have figured it out. This is what we need. They won't stop until it's a Wall-E situation where humans are gigantic in floating desk chairs.
And then the best part of our lives will be them changing the flavor of the Slurpee.
Exactly. And everyone will be like JT from Grandma's Boy, but huge and fat in their rolly fucking spaceship, just flying around, just watching and consuming content, barely moving until, they just crash us into Saturn.
You said JT's, and I immediately thought JT Real Muto, and he was going to come. He might save us. He might be the guy that comes in and saves us.
That's true.
He has a tendency to do that sometimes.
He does. He can.
Yeah,
he can. Him teamed up with Mr. Big Moment, Bryce Harper himself. I mean, those two guys, I think it can take on an alien horde.
Right. You know what, though? Here's the story. Here's how I imagine it. Like, it's like a movie. JT's the one doing it, but he's conversing with the imaginary spirit of Bryce because Bryce got killed off. And, like, it's the two of them, and, like, Bryce is just there in spirit form all the time.
Right.
Like,
so he's like Qui-Gon. JT is
Yeah.
like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And he's much older now, too.
Right.
And they're like, think about your swing.
He's got a
Like,
badass scar.
Yeah. He's like John Connor now.
Yeah.
It's getting me ready for baseball season, man.
That's what we're getting ready for here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like the last Ronin version of the Phillies. I love it.
Yeah. It would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There'd just be like a select few left over.
You just got Wheeler just like beaning aliens with fastballs,
Yep.
Taking them down.
The funny thing is both catchers survive. So we have a little and some other rando, someone from the daycare.
Yeah.
Maybe Marsh, maybe
Stubby's just there like talking to JT, like, come on, man. We're counting on you.
Yep.
In his overalls, drinking beers.
Yep. This is all going to go this way. It's going to be fucking crazy.
Last thing I'll say, that Alvarado's got the speed to take out aliens, but sometimes he misses a lot. You're like, fuck, man, that was a 100-mile-per-hour ball.
Alvarado is in the flashback sequence. We think he's going to make it, and he just gets like, he just a little bit off, and the AI fucking just reads it. Boom, done.
That
Vaporized.
one misses it and nicks it, and that one has like a scar on its machinery too.
Right.
From where he nicked it. All right, baseball aliens AI. That's what.
Folks. If you want to hear more, baseball AI fan fiction from your boys, log on to our new podcast, Dumb Jerkoffs.
Yeah. Dumb Jerkoffs talk about the Phillies and AI and aliens.
Yeah. Yep.
At Gmail. I don't know.
I don't even know. Yeah.
All right, so on to Titanic.
Let's talk about a sinking ship.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The Titanic. Ken, you know where I first heard about the Titanic?
Was it Celine Dion?
No, sir. It was Ghostbusters 2.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. There's that scene. I was like, what's the Titanic? And it put me down a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And this was way before the movie. It was always an interesting thing to me. And I knew we were going to get to the Titanic because, we're not going to be talking about, the ship of dreams. We're not going to be talking about some slide that gets banged out in the back of like a Ford Model T.
Yeah.
or sketches.
Yeah. But she opens it up and it's just all his Pokemon cards or all the S's,
All the S's are like, it's like a CD collection.
Yeah,
like his
that's
binder.
a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
No, we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories associated with the Titanic.
Yeah.
And, of course, of course.
Yeah.
We've got a few fun ones. There are some that I didn't include that we'll just gloss over because they're completely insane. But I think it would behoove us to do a little overview of the Titanic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone's pretty familiar with it, but
apparently we got some young listeners that I don't even know about that listen to us, so they might need to know this stuff.
that's true. If it's not on TikTok, they don't know about it at all.
Yeah.
Or something.
With some like voice over the guy that's like, the Titanic was, that guy, that AI voice.
Right. Ugh, terrible. All right. So the RMS Titanic, Ken, it was a British passenger liner that tragically met its fate on its maiden voyage. Launched on April 10th, 1912, the ship was considered a marvel of modern engineering and luxury.
Yes, it was.
Operated by the White Star Line, the Titanic set sail from Southampton, England on April 10th. With stops in Cherbourg, France, and Queenstown, Ireland. And then it was going to be heading off to its final destination of New York City. But fate would intervene.
Truly.
On the night of April 14th, 1912, the Titanic struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean. The collision caused extensive damage to the ship, ultimately leading to its sinking in the early hours of April 15th, 1912. The lack of sufficient lifeboats contributed to the tragedy, as over 1,500 passengers and crew members lost their lives in one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history.
Mm-hmm.
The sinking of the Titanic prompted significant changes in maritime safety regulations, leading to the establishment of the International Ice Patrol and the adoption of stricter safety measures for passenger vessels. The disaster also left an indelible mark on popular culture, with numerous books, films, and documentaries dedicated to recounting the events of that fateful night. The sinking of the Titanic continues to be a symbol of human hubris. It was called unsinkable, sir.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And the vulnerability of even the most advanced technological achievements in the face of nature's forces.
Right. Little fun fact for you going. Didn't the Titanic's sister ship, wasn't that the only cruise liner to sink an enemy warship during the war?
Talking about the Lusitania?
I believe so. It sunk a U-boat that was firing on it.
Yes, but since we weren't going to be covering that, I didn't pull up all the facts on that.
No, just a fun fact, little thing.
I mean, hey, it was common practice to use old cruise liners, or even ones that were before the war started. They were pressed into duty. So, I mean, famously, like our other ship episode about the Queen Mary, she was pressed into service as well. It's just something that was done because they were available and they could carry a large amount of people.
Right.
So you never know what they're going to do.
You don't. Maybe we should ask
them
Rob.
Know your next move.
Yeah, we should ask Rob. Maybe.
Hey Rob, why were? Hey Rob, in World War II, you were in that, right?
Yeah, Rob is forever.
Yeah. Yep. So while the sinking of the Titanic is a well-documented historical event, there have been some conspiracy theories and alternative explanations that have circulated over the years. But it's important to note that these theories lack credible evidence and are not, I repeat, not accepted by mainstream historians.
Sounds like something a Grover would say, if you ask me.
Oh, it's true. It's true. I mean, it's what it is, right?
And what did it say? It's alternate.
Yeah, I mean, there's the conspiracy theories, but it's alternative explanations.
There we go.
What happened? Yeah,
we missed a mark of our podcast name. Alternative Explanations Podcast.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's what it evolves into later.
Yeah, right. You're right. We don't know where this ship's going,
Yep. So first up, we have the switch theory. All right. Now, the claim is that it suggests that the Titanic's sister ship, the Olympic, was intentionally substituted for the Titanic as part of an insurance fraud scheme. Of course. According to the theory, the Olympic, which had previously suffered damage in a collision, was in worse condition than reported, and the switch was orchestrated to sink the damaged ship and claim insurance money.
It's actually kind of smart.
Yes, if it were true, sir. Good old J.P. Morgan, who's involved in basically every conspiracy theory from this period of time,
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
I know. I mean, he pops up in I think 3 of these. That it was it was he had just about 10 years earlier had acquired the White Star Line and was losing a little bit of money. And they figured that they could take the ships out to the far ocean, have it hit some ice, and then when it sunk, they could have the passengers get taken off. And there was going to be this ship that was going to come in. It was called the California, and they would take passengers off, no loss of life, and they would sink that ship to the bottom and collect the insurance money. 2 crazy things did happen though. Because of the lateness of the iceberg strike, they were not able to radio the California, which had stopped its radioing message receiving for the night.
Sure.
So they were not able to get to the Titanic at all.
Yeah, when they stopped the communications.
Oh yeah, that just raises more questions. That's when my Fox Mulder comes out.
Yeah, right. Time to paranormalize.
Exactly. And so there was all that loss of life. However, according to the naysayers, which we hate,
yes, we do.
We do. The amount of insurance that was on the Olympic was only $5 million.
Pennies.
The amount that was to construct the Titanic and all the money that had gone into it was closer to about 15 to 20, possibly even $50 million. So if they had gone through this entire elaborate scheme, they would have just ended up losing money.
Yeah, not to mention all the palms you had to grease.
Yeah. So
look the other way.
Yeah, this is almost on the level of like moon landing shit. It's like, come on. Guys.
Yeah.
So that's that one. That one. What do you think? Do you think it's plausible, or are we gonna?
Here's where I do think it's plausible, because I think
sink
it's
or swim.
I think it's the most convenient. Well, let's not say convenient. It's the easiest to pull off in, let's say, practice. In like the idea of going, look, man, we're gonna make some money. We're gonna have the captain's gonna go out there. He's gonna do this. We're gonna get everyone off. It'll be fine.
They have to get everybody off. Jesus.
I don't think they're worried about everyone. I don't think they're worried about all the people below. You know what I mean? They're like, the Irish? No. Like, who cares? I think mostly...
third-class passengers?
You're right. Yeah, they're like, no, we'll get all the hoity-toits off, and as many of the crewmen as we can. And we'll just call it a big accident. The newspapers will run it as an accident. Who's out there with cameras? No one. And maybe they were like, this was a bad investment. 15 million. They're like, we can get you back 5. He's like, sink it.
Yeah.
Hit some ice. And then someone on the, in the California was just like, oh, this radio, Communications off for the night. The sinking isn't to happen till tomorrow.
Nope. Harumph. They were drinking their brandy and their cigars, and they were like, do it.
Yeah. let her fall. And then they get the radio back on the next day, and they're like, "How did it sink? Wait, what?" Like the one end, one up, and they're like, "What?
That wasn't supposed to happen.
That's insane. We don't know physics."
Well, there's another sinking theory. It's the deliberately sunk theory, which
this one's the one I think happened.
This is the J.P. Morgan conspiracy, and honestly, this one's like, oh shit.
Yes.
So some conspiracy theorists, I guess us, believe that the Titanic was sunk on purpose to eliminate opposition to the creation of the Federal Reserve Bank. Whenever they start throwing this shit around, I'm like, there's the reason.
Yeah. Once you hear Federal Reserve, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't even a government institution?
Yeah, they're not federal at all. It's just a fun name.
What?
Yeah.
You could just put your name at something like that and everyone just believes it because that's what it's called?
Yeah. I don't want to go down this road because there's
every organization ever.
Right. So some of the wealthiest men in the world were aboard the Titanic for her maiden voyage. Several of whom, including John Jacob Astor IV, Benjamin Guggenheim, and Isidor Straus, were allegedly opposed to the creation of a U.S. central bank. No evidence of their opposition to Morgan's centralized banking ideas had been found. Duh.
Yeah, no shit. It went down
about this in back rooms.
Yeah.
Astor and Guggenheim never spoke publicly on the subject, while Strauss spoke in favor of the concept. Hey, people flip-flop all the time. All 3 men died during the sinking. Conspiracy theorists suggest that J.P. Morgan, the 74-year-old financier who set up the eponymous banking firm, arranged to have the men board the ship and then sunk it to eliminate them.
Yeah.
Morgan, nicknamed the Napoleon of Wall Street, had helped create General Electric, U.S. Steel, and International Harvester, and was credited with almost single-handedly saving the U.S. banking system during the Panic of 1907. Morgan did have a hand in the creation of the Federal Reserve and owned the International Mercantile Marine, which owned the White Star Line and thus the Titanic.
So fact.
Well, there's still more to it. There's still more to it. This one floats. This one doesn't sink.
Yeah.
So Morgan, who had attended the Titanic's launching in 1911, had booked a personal suite aboard the ship with his own private promenade deck and a bath equipped with specially designed cigar holders. That's like evil details.
Yes.
Where will I put my cigars?
I need to smoke while I'm in the bath.
Yeah, can't we just have some lowly person, whatever, hold it for me?
Yeah, or just sit next to the bath and open your mouth.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
He was reportedly booked on the ship's maiden voyage, but instead canceled the trip and remained at the French resort can't pronounce that. A French resort. Yeah. To enjoy his morning massages and sulfur baths. God, he probably stunk.
Because he's the demon, you know?
Sulfur or like, don't reptiles like that shit? He's probably a lizard person.
Sure. Yeah, well, hey, one could be the other. I don't know.
Sure. Reptilians are just, that's what demons are. People just misunderstood them as they didn't know what they were.
Yeah. Zach Baggins got it all wrong, you know?
Right. His allegedly last-minute cancellation has fueled speculation among conspiracy theorists that he knew of the ship's fate. Of course. Yep. This theory has been refuted, though, by Titanic experts George Behe, Don Lynch, and Ray Lepien, who have each provided alternate, more widely accepted theories as to why Morgan canceled his trip.
All feds.
Oh, they're all plants.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorist Stu Peters, people like Stu!
People like Stu!
Has advanced an anti-Semitic version of the theory. Oh. God damn it. Stu, you let us down. Alleging the Rothschild. I don't know. Alleging the Rothschilds. Hey, if you bring them up, it's they were behind both the Federal Reserve and the Titanic sinking. Peters also claimed the Ocean Gate submarine was deliberately sabotaged in order to prevent its own passengers from discovering that the Titanic was sunk by a controlled demolition instead of an iceberg. Whoa.
Okay. All right.
First of all, okay, let's just reel that back in. Okay, so Mr. Stu Peters, if he's even a real person, oh boy, is he? Never mind. Oh shit.
Is he like the Phantom Patriot?
No, he's more like a white nationalist, Holocaust denier, and conspiracy theorist, also a COVID denier, and he's also anti-LGBTQ. So we're just not going to talk about Stu.
All right, Stu. People don't like Stu, apparently.
Hey, Stu, go fuck yourself.
Wow, Stu.
Yeah, well, you know what?
But even the theory of stopping them from going to see it, how many people have already seen the wreckage?
That was my next point. So, fuck Stu. Although, hey, the Rothschilds are involved in some crazy shit. So just because this guy is off his rocker doesn't mean that this Rothschild stuff doesn't hold, weight. I mean, they've got their hands on everything. I mean, J.P. Morgan, them, it's all a cabal.
Look, there's plenty of lunatics that get some things right. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. A broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Yeah, exactly. A lunatic could have a good theory once in a while. You know?
Exactly. So the Ocean Gate thing, which, we're just going to gloss over. Everyone knows about this. This happened last year.
Yes.
Terrible, terrible accident. But for them to suggest that the passengers would have seen that it was a controlled demolition is ridiculous. Because so many people have been down there.
Yeah.
The whole thing has been... they've 3D mapped the whole thing. You can there's a site you can go on that shows the whole ship, the entire wreck. I mean, it's in two pieces with a whole debris field. It's wild.
And there's so many more plausible theories as to why that the submarine imploded. It's like the people that were on there were a big time board of controls of a lot of people that are like, got their hands in some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this is like two rolled into one. But it's dude, an explosion. I mean, it just doesn't. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not.
hey, maybe he's like, hey, when they say that you see an iceberg, just make a hard right into it, because they said, like, if the Titanic struck the iceberg head on, it would have survived.
Yeah.
Them hitting it along, like, just,
punch those
created this
holes.
yeah.
Yep.
And throws her ass into the air, and it's a big ass.
The captain was like, every time I turn the wheel, I do a goddamn bridge abutment.
Exactly. Is it true that Chris Farley's ancestor was actually the captain of the Titanic?
It's been rumored.
Say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, who am I to refute such a thing?
I've heard. Yeah, I mean, they were just trying to sell all those brake pads. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Callahan Auto had a big hand in the Titanic. I don't know.
The Callahan Auto conspiracy. Here's the next one.
Yeah. Richard was pissed at Tottenham.
Right. Oh, I've interrupted happy time. No, man. Aside from fucking Stu jerk off here, I would tend to, I could believe this, man. I mean, because that is very strange. I mean, yeah, you have all those people on there, and then 10 minutes before, Mr. J.P. Morgan is like, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah.
It's like, why isn't he going?
Because he was like, you know what? I'm going to reserve the nicest room on there. I'm going to make him go meticulous. It's called an alibi.
Hell yeah.
No, I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying, in general. But yeah, no, this is what happened. And as far as I'm concerned, this is what happened. I'm unless there was some like alien stuff, I might believe. We'll see if we get to that. Yeah,
definitely. There's no aliens, but if you want to throw one out there, go for it.
Zip zap gleep glorp.
Mm-hmm.
Get lost. They're zooted. They've been drinking all day. They're stoned to pieces, and they start playing with lasers and they start trying to like hit the beat, to regulators with their laser, and they're just and then all of a sudden lap dance comes on, so doom 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 doom, and they're hitting it to make a light show, and as the Titanic comes by, doo 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 doo, that's the dots that are in the side of the Titanic.
Yeah,
if you can link that up in time with lap dance by NERD, if you go back and you look at the dots.
I mean, if anyone could do it, I think it'd be you.
Yeah, I can do it. I have done it, and this is why this conspiracy is so prevalent in my mind.
Okay,
boys, Zippy and Gleeps out there.
It's too hard to track their movements, and they have a longer lifespan than we do. Yeah. They can also travel through time and space, so it's
we don't know. I mean, that's just my theory. We don't have NORAD on it yet, like Santa,
Mm-hmm.
So take it as you will. J.P. Morgan.
Sure. So the next conspiracy theory on here is the theory of the unlucky mummy. Have you heard about this?
Oh, I have.
So this is it's kind of a little bit of a misnomer, because it's not actually a mummy. It's a part of it's like a coffin lid that was part of a mummy's like sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And this was on board the Titanic. It was being brought to New York during the voyage. And it's kind of over the years but even before that had a little bit of a reputation for bringing misfortune.
Right.
And a lot of myths kind of developed around it. But for our purposes here, it was being moved from the British Museum to New York on the Titanic when it sank. But it's also been disproven at some point that it actually wasn't on the ship at this point, which is kind of weird, because if you look at older articles, I guess they figured it out at some point. But it's a beautiful coffin lid. It's a female mummy. It's great. It's got these really weird hands that stick out to the side, which is pretty interesting. You don't really see that very often. It's like there are two extra pieces that stick out to the side. And according to the story, is that this was on the ship, and this particular coffin lid, they call it a mummy board. Was already. I don't know.
I like that. That's almost like the Mummy Board of Trustees, I'm a part of the Mummy Board. Please step aside. I'm going into the Sphinx.
They don't know her identity. Apparently there's no identification any marks on it. However, the story has been like aroused around it is that it's, you know, she was some kind of like priestess of you know, the temple of Amun Ra. I don't know where they came to that. They don't know.
Yeah, my theory on that is it was probably J.P. Morgan's girlfriend, who was an ancient mummy, who was one of the ones that just, you know, and he was trying to get the lid back because she was getting a little old. Like, all right, we borrowed it we lent it out to, you know, the museum over there for quite some time. Need it back, and then you know what? She might have lipped off.
Yep.
And he's like, you know, we're gonna put it on the Titanic.
All right, I'm gonna go Hollywood blockbuster style. You ready?
The Naxunamun.
Kind of. All right, so J.P. Morgan is like an ancient, just evil creature, right? He's you know, he goes back to New York, whatever. Yeah. This is his like ancient bride. She's in there, right? Yeah, he has his 3 boys. They're supposed to like, all right, look, you take care of her. Don't let her wake up. You got to protect her. Don't let it, just because if she wakes up, we're fucked. All right.
Tell her she's beautiful.
Nothing.
Give her
she's
some
asleep.
chocolate. Yeah, but if she wakes up,
right,
give her some chocolate. Tell her she's beautiful.
Right.
She'll be fine.
Right. But these were men in 1912, so she accidentally wakes up.
Yeah.
Right. It goes sideways real quick. They ask her to make a sandwich or something crazy, like crazy. And
why?
She goes berserk. She starts glowing green. All these ghoulish things start happening, and she sinks the fucking Titanic.
It's a good one. Right? I like it.
She fucking rips a hole in the side of it.
Yeah.
And then she flies to New York to spread further chaos or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's more compelling than what the story here literally is. Hey, I think this was on the Titanic. And then like 100 years later, it wasn't. It's like, what the fuck?
Or maybe she's, because it's the mummy board.
Yeah.
Maybe she surfed it out of there.
Is that what Jack and Rose were really floating on?
Floating on? Yeah, the mummy board.
Yeah, they were on the mummy board. And she's like, there's no room. Yeah. She's like, there's no room, bitch. And then she just like mushes his face into the cold water. She's like, sorry. I have the heart of the ocean now. I'm the rich girl.
She starts singing.
Yeah.
And he's just like.
Yep. And then, you know, fast forward, Celine Dion was actually that mummy, and she still kind of looks like it now.
And that's why they asked her to make the song for it. Yes, they're like,
that's actually an ancient Egyptian melody. Does that work?
Yeah, they're like, can you give us what it felt like to be on the Titanic? She was like, you're here.
Yeah.
You know, that
whole thing with the little penny, the little penny whistle, whatever the fuck that thing's called.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that the other day. I'm like, why did they choose that? Because I think it was James Cameron was talking about it, and the studio really pushed for that song. And he was like, he's like, would you put a pop song at the end of Schindler's List? And it's like, good point, James. But
I think a lot more people died in that movie, but sure.
Right. But like in the same, but that was his point, you know, like, but he's like, this isn't supposed to, this is a
historical
drama.
tragedy.
Yeah. He's like, why are we putting a pop song, you know, at the end?
Yeah.
And also it's like, well, you know, also, why did you ever drop the heart of the ocean at the end, bro?
Yeah.
So that's a wild turn you made there, Jimmy.
I don't know, man. He's nuts too.
Yeah.
And if there's any, he knows something too, because you know he's been down to the ship for real like a bunch of times.
Yeah.
We've got a few others that are honestly, you know, it's like, oh well, there were watertight doors that were meant to be closed and weren't closed, and that you know, just negligence, or maybe someone did that on purpose. Then there's this whole technical thing, which I'm not going to go into. It's about the expansion joints in the ship, and that's basically what made it made the watertight doors malfunction, and then also contributed to the ship breaking in two, which also has been, I don't know, debunked. And then the final one, which I thought was kind of cool, is there's this weird the coal fire theory, which is kind of interesting, which kind of like, this isn't a conspiracy. This is just like more negligence. So apparently a coal fire in one of the Titanic's bunkers weakened the ship's structure. So like, apparently when it went out there, this is common or whatever, that like sometimes because of these huge coal ovens, like an uncontrolled fire was burning. So the area of the ship was very hot, and it was like basically warping parts of the ship, and they just kind of just let it go because they're like, it's fine, we need it to be on fire anyway, kind of thing. And
it's the ship's unsinkable,
right? I mean, you know, they had nothing to worry about. So when it made it more susceptible to damage when it hit that iceberg. So, and they say that the conspiracy comes in is that the fire was known to the crew, but they just downplayed it. So,
yeah, they're like, there's ice out there. It'll counteract it.
Yeah.
It's really cold.
Yeah, it's cold, guys. We got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
All good.
Yep. But the funny thing on this one, the criticism on this one is kind of weak because they're just like, hey, the fire would not have significantly compromised the ship's integrity, you dicks.
Okay.
Like, you don't know anything about ships.
Yeah. They're like, what do you know about maritime fires?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a pirate? Are you a pirate? You know. That's what they have.
Yeah. So I think it's important, Ken, and I think it's crucial to approach such conspiracy theories with skepticism and rely on well-established historical accounts and evidence.
Written by J.P. Morgan.
Yeah. The sinking of the Titanic resulted from a combination of factors, including the ship's speed, inadequate safety measures, and the failure to avoid an iceberg as detailed in official investigations, such as the British and American inquiries conducted after the disaster. But some of these kind of hold a little weight. I mean, all of these, except for the J.P. Morgan one, I can do it. I mean, if the Mummy one turns out to be true, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. But the J.P. Morgan one, that's like all joking aside.
Yeah, that's what happened.
He was there to ensure that the Federal Reserve was created. That sounds about right, guys.
Yeah, and that's why all our money and ability to purchase things are controlled now. So,
I mean, these were guys who were, like violently opposed to unions and shit. Like these guys were like, oh yeah, here's our money for the company. You can buy stuff only in the company store. These are these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it kind of worked out anyway because they created the Federal Reserve and now it all is like that. But
yeah. I mean, there we are. I mean,
yeah,
I'm definitely going with the whole J.P. Morgan angle. I mean, it makes the most sense. And from what I know now about what I know about the people in charge, and just how full of shit everyone is. Just how full of shit everyone is. It's like, yeah, you guys did that. There's no, they don't. What do you care? What do they care about human life?
Right.
It's filling their pockets, making generational wealth. Namesake. Have their name will go on.
Semper Virens. This is all Grover shit.
It is. Oh, it totally is. Come on.
100%.
Ew.
Well, how would you like to, follow this fun stuff up with some fun little ghostly activity that's been associated with some of the Titanic?
That was going to be my next question before we transition to where we were going. Do you think it's haunted down there?
No.
You don't think ghosts can exist underwater?
No, because I think there is something to do. There is something to the idea that like being submerged in water has something to do with it. Because if these are some kind of, let's say that let's say ghosts are some kind of electromagnetic something. I feel like water would really fuck it up. Okay. And how are you going to scare the shit out of somebody at the bottom of the ocean?
It's true. When you do put the actual desire of a ghost on the table,
if that is a thing,
it does pull back some underwater haunting credibility.
Yes.
I see your point.
Yes.
And it's been noted.
Yes. However, there have been a few eerie occurrences related to the Titanic and its artifacts. As you may well know, a few artifacts have been, or more than a few, there have been recovered artifacts from the Titanic itself. There have been anecdotal accounts of haunted artifacts recovered from the ship. Stories suggest that some items salvaged from the wreckage carry a certain energy or presence, and individuals have reported strange occurrences when in possession of these artifacts. Okay, so your typical haunted objects, like we did the one episode, right?
Yeah.
So there's a few folks that have pieces of, allegedly, the grand staircase, which was that main staircase that you see in the film. And they have reported
where Jack was waiting at the very end.
during the curtain call scene.
Yeah.
Folks who have pieces of this, and apparently there's like a cherub that was on one of the sides. Someone has that. There's pieces of the clock. I don't know how they have this shit because I thought you couldn't. There's some shit you just can't touch, but I don't. It must be sticky at this point. You can just do what the fuck you want.
Here's what I think too, though. Maybe when it was going down, people were running and the water was coming, and someone was like, Geraldine, knock the cherub off the staircase. Take it home. We were here. We have to prove we were here. Like that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, this is all stuff recovered after the fact, which
because I was gonna say like the woman, she like was like my baby, I have to get my baby, and they just thought that the cherubim statue was the kid.
Well, this is after. Good idea. I like where your head's at. This is all after the fact. So after this ship was rediscovered by Robert Ballard, there were numerous trips back to the wreckage.
Right.
And over like when it first started, people were like, "Hey, this is a mass graveyard. Like there's a lot of people died here.
Yeah.
Maybe don't. This is a cemetery. I mean, don't disturb the shit." People were like, "Yeah, maybe we shouldn't." That lasted for like 5 or 10 years. And now the piece, it's just being like picked over. And I guess because it's in international waters and it's the White Star Line. I don't even know if that exists anymore. Right. I don't know the ins and outs of the legality of it.
You don't know the particulars. I get it.
I sure don't, sir. Because I'm not going to the bottom of the ocean and get imploded.
Get fucked.
Yeah, seriously. Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it ain't happening. Mm-hmm. So apparently, folks who have some of these pieces have alleged to have heard phantom footsteps in the rooms where these artifacts are.
It's deserved.
Yeah.
Whatever you get is deserved.
Yep. They also hear laughter. Interesting. There were kids on board. This is one that gets me, though. Or music reported to have been played by the band that went down with the ship.
Sure.
That's creepy as fuck.
That is very creepy. And I wish the band would have to would be more like punishing them, almost like an Eric Zahn situation.
Yes,
where it's like otherworldly demon music or whatever, daemon or however you want to call it. Some music creature, some music phantom was haunting them with fucking otherworldly fiddles and cellos.
Yeah.
That's what I wish on these fucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, guy.
No, man. I mean, it continues. So there's a few museums and traveling exhibitions that go around the world, and they have artifacts and other things from they have dishes. They have the life preservers, all these crazy things. All this stuff. It's nuts. I mean, the one expedition pulled out a giant piece of the side of the ship. They cut it out and brought it up to the top.
That's haunted as fuck.
I'm sure it is.
That's an episode we should do, haunted museums, by the way.
We should. So in this particular area, spectral figures have been reported. There's occasional reports of people claiming to have seen ghostly figures resembling passengers or crew members who perished in the sinking near this particular piece of the Titanic.
You know who's definitely haunting that? Remember in the movie, the one guy that fell out from holding and just hit the fucking...
Tilt?
Yeah, it was a bing, and he just fucking...
Yeah, yeah, they call him Tilt because it's it's like a fucking pinball machine.
There you go. That guy. That guy is haunting.
Do you know that's... So, they actually... So they put that in the film because there's an anecdote about that. They actually know who that was, the guy's name. It's fucked up.
He's one of them.
That's
Another
him.
Fun fact, you know the one officer that in the movie they portrayed as shooting the guy all scared and kind of being a dick?
He wasn't really that bad of a guy.
No, he actually was a hero. He actually saved a bunch of people on that, but yeah.
I mean, it's a movie, guys. You can't really take historical facts from the movie.
As we've said, based on a true story means most of this is bullshit.
Exactly. Based.
Yeah.
These sightings are often described as fleeting glimpses or shadowy apparitions. That's the one that got me. I was like, dude, they hauled this piece of iron that's been sitting on the ocean bottom of the ocean for over 100 years. They pull it up and shit starts getting weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go a little Ghostbusters with this.
Please.
That scene where they talk about Ivo Shandor's building, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the metal being like this, electroconductive, some kind of weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Truth is off the table. We're just having a good time here. But
Yeah.
like that really like resonated with me. I was like, oh man, what the fuck? That was sitting in the darkness for 100 years, being surrounded by like, ooh.
Well, let's say literally, like you consider this a graveyard, right?
Yeah.
Whether it not be, official burials, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
religious rites and all that stuff. Let's just say that's the resting place of someone's energy. The body dissipated down there. All the fish and everything picked them apart. Everything.
Yeah, they were consumed very quickly.
Yeah. So there's no like corpses or anything down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that was down there, and anything that dissipated that was electrical that is in the human body had to go into the stuff around it, I guess.
Yeah.
If we're going with the energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it had to go somewhere.
Do you think it possessed like a fish?
Oh, there's fish down there that were down there, and it's like, the one fish eats the other, and it's just years and years of energy transference through fish and families.
Is that how we got Jaws?
That's exactly how we got Jaws.
Boom, cracked it wide open.
It was Tilt.
Yep. He was like, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Didn't come to save me.
Yeah, and then just over years and years, he just goes in, always a bigger fish, eats, and one eats one eats one, and then finally turns into this mega shark, and then he's like, I'm coming for, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he just landed on Amity Island. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, he's like, this is cool.
Yeah, he's like, fuck their
He's like,
$7.
he's like, is that Richard Dreyfuss? It's like, you're done.
Like, yeah, Richard, get the fuck. Yep.
And he's like, sorry, Quinn's got to go. He's like, he's got to go.
Yep. Well,
Titanic goes in the water. Sharks in the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. It's the Titanic that goes swimming with bow-legged women. I heard. Anyway, you heard it here first, folks. We cracked it wide open. That's where Jaws came from. It's a haunted fish that was eventually consumed down the food chain that turned into a very angry shark.
I want to tell you something too, though, when you bring up the Ghostbusters thing, because that also stayed with me as a kid, because in that scene, that's like where you get the most like ghosts as we would know it, right?
Yeah.
All the people walking out of the, and of course it's at the time the science was there was a big hole in the side of the ship,
So
and
there was a big hole.
Right, sure, but
they didn't know it was broken in half.
Yeah, right. So like they're all walking out of that, and like I remember it being so creepy, and I akined it to the stairwell scene in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And one's a comedy, one's not.
Yeah.
And like
when you're that age, it don't matter. Scary is scary.
Oh yeah. And then I'm like, wait a minute, is that Cheech?
Oh,
like,
fuck yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Better late than never.
And I used better late than never.
If we could clip that in here, that'd be fucking great.
Hey, hold on 1 second.
What? Wait a second. Lieutenant, I think you better talk to this guy.
I'm busy here.
It's some dock supervisor down at Pier 34.
What's the problem?
He says the Titanic just arrived.
Well, better late than never.
Yep, there it is. Oh man, that's so great. That scene is one of the scariest scenes in all those movies, besides the train scene.
Yep. That's like I said at the top. That's where I first heard about it, and yeah, man. I mean, it's wild. So we've got two more here, and these are great too. So there's another. This one was I pulled this one, and they didn't name it, but it can only be two exhibitions in the United States. So visitors to a Titanic-related exhibition have reported hearing mysterious sounds like distant voices or the creaking of ship timbers inside the exhibition.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
I like that one too.
I really like that one.
Here's the one. Okay, so they say, and this is why I like this one. They say the creaking of ship timbers, right? It's like, well, what would that be? It's like, that's it. Like, as it's raising its back out of the ocean, right. It's starting to, start all the stress of the being held up in the air is starting to like rip the shit apart. So like, could you imagine hearing that? Like,
yeah.
And then finally, like, some kind of like, I don't know, loud crash.
Here's a, we got all these paranormal people out there that are all like, oh, the Warrens believed, Yeah, right. So like, ketchup squirt. Right out of that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You never have these people tackle these ideas, right? Maybe all these people perishing on this big ship, maybe they gave that spirit in a weird way. Like,
Okay.
you know, we talk about spirit of place or spirit of these other concepts, right?
Yeah.
Or like how Japanese, it's the spirit of the nation. It's all of us together, you know?
Sure.
So like maybe this tragedy, so much emotion, so much craziness going on, kind of on its way out, breathed into existence some kind of, I don't know, energy that kind of became the embodiment of the spirit of the ship. I don't know. I know I sound crazy, but it's just another theory. I mean, all these theories are fucking crazy. You know?
No, I mean, hey, this is what we talk about on here, and that's not too far off, I don't think, because if you think about it, all that human like emotion, and then just over, like went underneath the waves.
Yes.
A lot of people were rescued, but think about all those people who were trapped in some of those rooms, just plummeting towards the bottom of the ocean in darkness.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I guess you know, all the air trapped in your chest cavity, I guess you just kind of like would just like kind of rupture.
Yeah.
They say that there's in the ship, even to this day, there could have been some airtight containers, and there could be bodies still down there that were not consumed because they're sealed in there.
Sure.
We'll never know because
yeah.
you can't go and the thing will just fall apart.
Yeah.
But it's wild, man. I mean, and just looking at those pictures now, even to this day, like you see videos of the wreck, it's like, oh my God. It's so fucking spooky with like those rusticles coming off of it. It just has that look. It's like, that is a ghost ship, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like you just, it's like, that's it.
Right. And that's like, that's kind of my what I'm kind of like the point I'm kind of making. It's like, this is all guesswork, you know, like all this stuff and all these years, like we've had, you know, William Roll and all these like great guys that have gone in, like certain people that took it seriously and actually aren't like, you know, kooks or quacks. And they're looking at what happens when this happens? What is this? You know,
they're trying to bring it down to the essentials.
Right. 40 and stuff. And like, I don't know, just all these different, like actual questioning of this stuff. And actually when you talk about a science or making something a science, it's not like you're creating controls that, you know, mean nothing. Right. So like you have, this measures here's my ghost trap. And here's my PKE meter. And, you know, like all this stuff that's like fun in movies.
Your pipes and your grinders.
And your hot balls and your fix up those dogs like I do, you know. Anyway, but like, how do we know that like when some tragedy like this, it doesn't form some just kind of like vortex of energy or some kind of, for lack of a better term, you know, ball of energy? Who the fuck knows?
That's like along the lines of like a tulpa, right? Like a thought form, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like, you know, energy made manifest kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes. And with all the people that were going to the bottom,
form.
like going to the bottom.
Yeah.
All of them thinking the same thing, having the same fear, all the same terrifying thing. You know what I mean?
You think there's at least one dude that was like, "Fuck yeah, I gotta go to work on Monday now."
Probably a couple.
Yeah, like you know what? Good.
Yeah. And they hear in their head,
yeah. He's like, there's no way I was paying off that fucking loan anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
He's like, $200? How can I ever find that kind of money?
Yeah.
I'd have to sell my children, and we already sold 3.
Yeah, which you could do back then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can still do it now, but it's a little more, you know, Hollywood.
Yeah. I should rock it out of there. Out of that conversation.
I told you beginning of this year, didn't we say we turned a corner? Like we're in the dark territory now, man. Everything is AI, lizard people, and you know, Hollywood creeps.
Exactly. Like me and you are like kind of the last bastion of like verbal tradition at this point. You know what I mean?
Yes. Maybe.
Because we're spinning the new yarn. You know, this ODP canon is the new yarn. It's the new fabric of lore.
I like it.
You know?
I like it. I like it.
All we got's ketchup anymore, man.
It's true. I was just on my ketchup mobile today.
Yeah, right. You know, it's like that's all the kids know. That's all they're going to be talking about.
John Kerry and his wife, we're going to find out, are the real like overlords because she owns ketchup.
Oh, John Kerry stepped away from being the climate czar to just go, you know,
ketchup.
Yeah, to lord over his ketchup.
Yeah, they're working on mustard, but there's so many variations they can't keep it together. Yeah. Like, no, let's just focus on ketchup. Maybe we can get relish. They're trying.
Yeah, they're trying. There is like Heinz. You know, Heinz ketchup it's the king of ketchups.
Right.
God tier ketchup. Then you have Heinz yellow mustard. No, thank you.
No.
Heinz spicy mustard? No.
Yeah.
Do you even make a Dijon? Your relish is a joke. Get out of here. Stick to ketchup.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean they're trying. They can't be punks. They can't not have their version, but they know
they're
you know,
trying.
yeah, they know they got that platinum ketchup. They know it's up.
Yeah, it's the best ketchup.
That's all this has been about. Wait,
Yeah.
this has only been about ketchup?
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
has been.
It always has been.
Yeah, that's why they sent Columbus over to the New World. They wanted him to get tomatoes.
Yeah, right. And JP
That's it.
Morgan the whole time was like, these motherfuckers are going to try to take our ketchup fields. And they had ketchup, like oil fields. Yeah, they had ketchup. He's like, sink it. One shadowy guy smoking a fucking pipe in the corner.
Mm-hmm. He was their version of the smoking man, but it was a pipe. Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Only his face is in shadow. He's like Moriarty from fucking Sherlock Holmes. Yep.
Yeah, and then the claw from Inspector Gadget's next to him.
Next time, Gadget.
Yeah. Next time, ketchup. Yeah, I mean, like, look, the Titanic is one of those things that we're going to continue. Everyone's going to continue to talk about it. It's
It's endlessly fascinating.
It is
because it's human endeavor
Yeah.
failing, and when that happens, people can't stop talking about it.
Right, and also you got to think about all the individual stories that you'll never really know.
Yeah.
So you get
totally.
to ponder all that kind of stuff, and then put yourself in the shoes of, Leonardo DiCaprio. No, I was kidding.
No,
like,
you don't.
yeah, right. Like you're like, what if I was just trying to get home, or like, all that stuff, and you're like, this is it. I managed to win a lottery to get a ticket.
Yeah.
I'm finally gonna, see my motherland again.
Yeah, me and Fabrizio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was like,
Yeah.
Jake, It's like, shut up, you're a character actor. No one likes you.
Yeah, no one likes you. Why can't you hit the propeller too on the way down?
Yeah, right.
The part.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, this is what I got for this, but this is great stuff. And like, there's, I mean, the aura around it, even if, talking about all this, this fun stuff that we're talking about, it might, it could be BS, but there's definitely an aura around the subject of the Titanic. And that in itself, I think, is kind of paranormal,
Yeah, right. And that's kind of what
it has a pull.
Right. And that's kind of what could be the thing that creates it. Like none of this could be real. All of it could be real. But in the end of it, it's like, we keep talking about it. So I guess we kind of make it real in this.
If the Titanic was a Transformer, do you think it would be an Autobot or a Decepticon?
Autobot.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think the iceberg was the Decepticon and it fucking took it out?
I think Starscream landed.
Fuck yeah. Yep.
On the iceberg, and he was.
But
Like,
it was Starscream as like some like cloth and like wood plane at the time that it had to turn into. Yeah. I'm sorry, folks.
No, Starscream. It ended up like going into the Wright brothers plane. It was like, and they were like, ah, and they fell. And he's like, man, it's not meant to fly, and it just takes off. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Amelia Earhart, same thing. It was, and she fell. Oh.
Yeah, she's back in the news, but we're not going to bring it up now because I don't have the article. But
I think they found it.
They found her plane. They think finally.
Yep.
But
I'm a fan of the one where she like landed in Japan and they ate her.
I don't think it was Japan, but yeah, it was somewhere. It was like wasn't it like Saipan or something? It was somewhere else.
It was an island near Japan, I believe. Either way.
They were getting into they were up to some weird shit during World War II. Japanese were on a different vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway,
they went back to the Warring States period. Then they were like,
Sengoku Jidai.
Yeah. I love when you talk Japanese, Daddy. Oh.
So, all right, man. So that's I'm not going there. Yeah. That's what we got for the good old RMS Titanic. But before we left you, we wanted to just inform you folks of a little. Your boys are going to be taking a little break.
Not too long.
About a month or so. We got through the holiday season with only a few shrapnel taken, only a few bullet wounds. Just we've got jobs, we've got lives, we got
works, families. Yeah,
we want events. This to be. Yeah, we always want this to be good for you guys. This and our other podcast. So we're just gonna reconnoiter a little bit.
Yeah. Yes.
And we'll be back at it real soon. You can see. We'll be back in March. We'll see you in March. There's plenty of stuff to listen to. Hey, if you haven't checked out Learning Lovecraft, go over there and catch up on that.
Yeah.
Not catch up. Catch up.
It's just as fun over there. I will say that.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe, but it's just as fun.
Right. And we're actually, you know what? I'm sure the vibe will probably be this vibe. Give it a few more months.
Yeah. We just can't help ourselves.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
So are we drinking? It's like, yeah. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
so I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, but we start with that. So by the time
Right.
we get to
Right.
ODP, it's a fucking free for all.
Exactly. Yeah. So I got a bunch of projects to work on. Ken's got his stuff. We got, we just got stuff to do, So we're just taking a little breather.
Yeah, with work, family stuff, the martial arts, and then now I picked up two catch up. I picked up 2 musical projects that I got to get working on. One, is kind of a part 2 of something that most of you probably haven't downloaded yet. Other Dangerous Podcast presents the Full Moon Clip. And then I got a project I'm working on with a good friend. Trying to work it out, do some stuff. So yeah, we got a little break coming up, but we'll be right back. Who knows? Maybe I'll get froggy and release a guest episode. I don't know. Maybe I won't get froggy and release a guest episode.
No, it's we're the ride or dies. We're actually taking a break.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I do need a break. Honestly, I've been wearing wrist guards.
Yeah.
I just took it off for this. I've been wearing wrist guards from working at work and then coming home and editing and everything. Dude, carpal tunnel, my tennis elbow's back. I do need a fucking break. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but we're good. Taking a nice little hiatus.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you in March.
Yeah, man.
See you in March. We go back. The catalog's there. Over 100 EPs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and if you get bored, go download Other Dangerous Podcast presents the Full Moon Collection.
Do it.
Well, all right, guys. For this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I've been Ken James.
And I've been Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.